All righty. Welcome, folks. Good morning. We continue with our Maimer Hasidic discourse in preparation for Rosh Hashanah. And the Nekuda, the point that is being made, the point that's being made is that the blowing of the shofar touches the atzmus, the core essence of God, and draws down the inner pleasure and desire for God to be king. Not just merely to give life, and that's really important. Of course, God gives life, but that's all. You're not looking to give life to a rock. Not looking to give. That's not his pleasure. His pleasure is to give life to a rock, give to a tree, to an animal. Life. That's his pleasure. His pleasure is in us. In the mitzvahs we do, and what we fulfill in our divine service. That's where the inner pleasure is. So to draw that down, that's what he desires, to renew his, if you will, for lack of better words, putting it into human terms over here, his recommitment to the world, vitality of the world, to the pleasure that he has in us. Blowing the shofar elicits his desire to be the king. We elicit that from him. It touches to the core. So now that it brings up a question, though. How do we understand this? If you will, in a technical term, it's a big problem. Why? I mean, it sounds very good what we just said, but it contradicts the whole idea of what a mitzvah is. A mitzvah translates as a commandment. A commandment means there's a commander. So before you can have a mitzvah, you have to have the commander. You have to have the king. Who's the commander? Before you can have the decree of the king. Correct? Well, guess what? Blowing the shofar on Rosh Hashanah is a mitzvah. So then, how is it that through blowing the shofar, if it's a mitzvah, meaning that it means that before the command, there is the commander already there, meaning the king is already there in order to command. So how's it possible then the mitzvah can touch beyond the commander? Beyond the commander, how's that possible? Can you tell me if you got that? Is the question clear? Carol, Michael, Liba, Davida, and everybody else.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, clear.
Okay. So that's the question. So the Rebbe says, well, then obviously there has to be two ideas in the blowing of the shofar. One is that it's a commandment of the commander, and one that it touches beyond even the commander. Because remember, the commander is only in a role of a commander. The commander isn't defined by being the commander. Is God defined by being king? No. He's beyond being a king. So our shofar is touching a place blowing the shofar beyond even the commander, let alone the command. Touches the core, and at the same time, it's also a command of the commander. It's got two qualities to it. Wow. That's pretty powerful. Now, what does that mean exactly? Right, that's what we have to say, but that doesn't give us the understanding of what that means. So let's go deeper now. Okay, you got to hold on to your hats. Going for a ride. Now I'm going to try to give this over as best as possible. Okay, so what do we say? To build the kingdom, right? God's kingdom, right? Is through drawing down from Atmos or Ein Sof, from the essence of the infinite light of God, right? Now, let's understand the infinite light of God is beyond, right? Right, like beyond the commander. And from here, we're building the commander and his, the king and his kingship, which is the world, right? All the worlds, by the way, not just this world. Important to appreciate that. It's all the worlds that are being built, right? Now, what is the idea of kingship? Of king? The idea of the king is the concept of revealing the divine. And that's really what just a real Jewish king, and there were bad Jewish kings, but the real concept of a king, the real deal. And by the way, Mashiach is called Melech HaMashiach, the King Mashiach. Why is he called the king? Why would Mashiach be called a king? Not a prince, not a sage. I mean, he's also called a sage, a Rav, right? Because he's also a sage because he's a teacher, the ultimate teacher, right? Like Moshe Rabbeinu, it's called Rabbeinu, means our teacher, our rabbi, our teacher. So why is Mashiach called Melech HaMashiach, King Mashiach? Is because the whole idea of the King Mashiach is to reveal godliness. That's what he's all about. That's what the king's all about. So when we speak about in a divine order of things, God as king means the revelation of the infinite of God, right? Revealing, right? Let me explain what the godliness, and there's God. So godliness reveals God, right? It's the revelation of God. Malchus is the quality of revealing the infinite of God. Okay, I hope that's clear.
Yes.
Good, thank you. This is similar. What's it similar to? As we've said many times, what is the king rules? How does he rule? With his word. Well, how does God rule? With his word. How so? Because his word is what creates. Right? the king, gives life, and death, off with the head. He just said it. And then, right, his swordsman just does whatever the word of the king is. God says, let there be light. There's light, right? Let, whatever it is, God brings life, or the opposite, right? Just through his word. Just through his word. For sure, for sure. Through his word, right? That's a king. Speech. What does speech do? I'm speaking right now. What is that doing? It's revealing my thoughts, not so much my feelings, because this is more, it's a teaching, so it's not so much but maybe it's also, I hope it's revealing the passion that I have in the teachings. So it does reveal some, it does reveal emotions, of course. That's what speech does. I'm revealing to another. That's the whole point. This is the idea of we're building Malchus on Rosh Hashanah. We're building Hashem's kingdom. What does it mean? That we're revealing that God is not just found in the spiritual dimension, but in this physical world too. I wouldn't even say two, just the same. Just the same. Yeah, two means it's like secondary. It's on. That's what we're trying to do. Reveal, just as speech reveals. Malchus is revealing, and that's what we're trying to do to build the kingdom, if you will, God's royalty, his kingship, to reveal it. And that's what, we say in the prayers. In the prayer service, one of the phrases we say, that they should be known, all actions, that you are its action. All I don't know, anything that's of anything, that you are its action, you are its reality. Meaning, even inanimate, to reveal in the inanimate that you are its creator. Now, so now where the Rebbe is going to go with this is, he asks a gewaltige question. Think of, I'm going to phrase it in a different way and then bring it in. In a sense, what Rosh Hashanah is, we're pledging allegiance to God, that he's our king, right? That's really what it kind of amounts to, in a sense, right? That I try to be, self-sufficient. I try to be king over me and try to control even others, right? We all do that. And Rosh Hashanah was saying, God, you know what? I'm your servant. You're the king. It's like pledging allegiance. How do you pledge allegiance in a kingdom, right? How do you do that? Through your words, right? I pledge allegiance to the flag of and to the Constitution, and so on and so forth. When someone takes office, right? You pledge it, you just express it. So says, well, that would make sense here too. Just express it in your prayers that you're pledging allegiance to God. Yet, how do we do that? Yes, we do it in our prayers, but the primary way we do it is as our sages say in the Talmud, shofar. Why? The blast of the shofar? How's that pledging allegiance? Expressing it with speech. After all, that's what we're trying to do. Malchus is the God's reveal that he is the true king. He's the real king. And I'm pledging allegiance to him. So say it in your prayer, say it in your speech. Prayer is speech. Matter of fact, you don't fulfill the mitzvah of prayer if you don't verbalize, if you just think it. Just as you pledge allegiance just in your thoughts, you don't fulfill that. So why the need to express it, and specifically through a shofar, through a ram's horn? What's the point? Good question. So the reason is, where are we trying to reveal God? This is so key and important. So, yeah, where are you trying to reveal him? Well, obviously, our first thought would be that try to reveal him in a place where we're more capable of accepting his revelation. So, like souls in the spiritual realm, right? Those souls that finished duty in this world and are in Gan Eden, or souls that didn't come yet into this world or waiting to come back, right? Reincarnation, whatever, right? So, reveal there. Or maybe you say, well, that's not enough because I got to reveal down here too. So maybe that God's kingdom should be revealed to me and the divine in me. The divine in me is we have, but it's covered over with a body that has its own urges, its own tendency. So reveal it there, bring it out there. No, that's not enough. That would not be enough. It needs to be revealed, God's kingship, in every nook and cranny of creation, from the highest spiritual beings to literally an Evan, a stone. Even the inanimate should pulsate with the reality of Hashem. He is the king. Therefore, we blow the shofar that reflects exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to touch God, that he should be revealed, his kingdom should be revealed, right? Revealing him, in other words. That's what Malchus does. Remember, speech reveals to another. So we're building that to reveal God. Where? To everything, including us, right? So we take a ram's horn, and we don't take a ram's horn as it's part of a ram and therefore part of the animal kingdom, but it's taken off from it, cut, and now becomes an inanimate object, right? It's not vegetation growing. It's not an animal anymore. It was cut off from the animal. It's an inanimate object, and in the inanimate, which represents exactly what we're trying to accomplish, that in the inanimate, God should also be revealed. that there should be a revelation till the inanimate. Wow. What does it mean, the revelation until the inanimate? That God is God. So there's a teachings from the Rebbe. Doesn't bring it over here, but if God is creating an Evan, a stone right now, with His word, that means it's pulsating with life. The fact that it exists means it's pulsating with the divine life, energy from light of God, right? And that's real. I don't perceive it. I know that that's the truth. And actually, scientifically, we know that the world is pulsating with, um, with energy, and it's constant. So there's a Yom Yom says, in the times to come, Mashiach, the cobblestone that we will walk upon, and we are not engaged in that moment with a positive thought of whether words of Torah or going to do an act of loving kindness or whatever. We're not in that moment. The cobblestone will call out to us and say, Bullock, what right do you have to step on me? Now, what does it mean? It's going to talk to her? I don't think that's what it means. But godliness will be so revealed that the inanimate will pulsate with the truth of God. And the truth of God, I'm only stand upon it and greater than it when I act in a way that I'm greater than it. Right? Is that happening today? Yeah, but we're not privy to that truth being pulsating to us when we step on, the on the ground. But it's happening, and now we're just. But in the times of Mashiach, we're going to be very sensitive, and we're going to sense that. What right do I have unless I'm fulfilling, what I got to fulfill now? So this is why we take the shofar, which is an inanimate object after it's cut off from the animal, to blow and to pledge our allegiance that God be our king. Reveal God. We building up that God should be revealed in every nook and cranny of creation. Wow, that is just awesome. I hope I give you a bracha that when we learn, you don't sit in your skin. This is just too unbelievable and beautiful that I hope you get it. And if you get it, it's truly inspiring.